Better leave it to the professionals.
Lust by Bundy, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been golden when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her era lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Reviews not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out
Started
the
off with a
boys.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Freaking the more to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't done so, just favorite drops a GM in the chat down below. Then head up top, smash that like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate it. Warms up the algo and does us a real solid. The chat is firing off today. YouTube is the spot you want to be. I pinned that link up top. Von Frunten's crown is there for the taking. We're also live on the X video feed on Steve's account, X audio spaces. As always, that's our if you can start there, go hit there. I mean, if you really want to know the best process, it's start in YouTube pre-show, like Von Frunten drops at 7:59 a.m. GM. Then head over to Abstract.
I don't even know how he does that, by the way. I still have no idea how he does that.
I'm not finding the Abstract stream. Did you hit start stream?
I just hit start stream. I was late on it. It was like I had my order of operations and I totally didn't do it, and I was late, so probably I was late starting Abstract.
I was gonna say, feel free not to start it up today because my 69 Pingu, my daily habit there, is up to $1.35. Happy all-time high to Abstract Global Wallet Day to those who celebrate. I think I've shared previously, I don't sell anything out of that wallet. I loaded up my Pingo early on. I get some tips, and it's literally up like 2x in the last week. I feel that's maybe a little bit of exaggeration, but with Pingo up 35% on the day, definitely not too much of an exaggeration.
Do you have the random meme coins in there too? That it's awesome
and stuff. You just like $10-20 of each, but it's all contributions. Like I haven't bought any, so I really appreciate the generational wealth you all are providing over on the Abstract streets. But yeah, $1.35 now for 69 Pingu. So I'm old enough to remember when that wasn't even 69 cents, Steve. Was like last Thursday. But no, seriousness, give us some love on the space. We would greatly appreciate it. Von Frunten's. Actually, I'm gonna drop a meme coin today. We're gonna start streaming on Pump.fun. after we realized that Steve and I left approximately $500,000 on the table over the first 6 months of the year. If the shit post is true, I don't think it's true, but I do fully expect like some of these people, like Gainesy's probably going to get a 7-figure airdrop. Like it's going to be. I can smell the cope on the timeline. It's me. I'm the one fuming with the cope. But I digress. Congratulations to everyone who's been in those trenches, about to get paid. And I think it's actually going to be a big positive for the ecosystem. I think it'll send some. Yes, they'll pull some liquidity. I think that's what's happening to Fartcoin right now. Sorry, Zane. The flightless bird flies higher than hot air. But anyways, we're already getting into things here. I haven't even done a proper intro. As always, I'm Cap, joined by my co-host Steve. Everybody financial advice in the show. Crypto's risky. Meme coins usually exceptionally risky, but you should have shoved all in like a week and a half ago when I gave you my 6 picks because they're all up bigly. I think I'll go check that just to make sure I'm accurate. But might have timed that one up good, Steve. I'm feeling like we are just starting to heat up and excited to be here. But in all seriousness, they are risky. They can go back 35% just as fast as they raise 35%. So please don't put any money you can't afford to lose. Know that Steve and I hold tokens we'll talk about from time to time here on the show, like Pingu. And we're not financial advisors, certainly not your financial advisor. So join us for that. Just join us for some fun, some information, education along the way. GM, sir, how you doing?
Good. Just sending our guy Riggs a happy birthday text.
I need to get a happy birthday song queued into the soundboard here. I don't even think I have anything really close that can pull off a
happy birthday is CC0, so you got that one.
That's what I'm saying. I should just have it loaded in there. I could do a
bad sign for Pengu here. Bad sign for Pengu, and I'll tell you why. Von Frunten consolidated all his abstract means into Pengu this AM. We fly with the Flightless Bird today. Von Frunten, it was actually really funny. I was laughing because like Von Frunten said, like, we won't see another NFT over $100,000. And then somebody brought it up in the war room. And like, didn't Von Frunten say that? And someone's like, yeah, 2 days ago. And they're like over 100,000. And Von Frunten's like, why you got to bring up old stuff? I don't bring up all the old takes. It was 2 days ago, but I love that response. It's like, why you got to bring up old stuff? That was forever ago. Different version of me. But no, look, I don't know. I mean, part of me, GM to everybody, by the way, GM to the abstract chat, as always, Von Frunten, Teacher Katie, Mesh, Green Edge, Machiavelli, always out there, and the homie. We already hit all of the YouTubers and X video ors. GM, give us a like or retweet a comment on the room. Slower X algorithm discovery. I don't know if it's because they're firing CEOs or what, but want to make sure we're getting out there. Dort, Dobbins.
Grok 4. I mean, we're going to, sorry to interrupt. Grok 4 just launched and already is the smartest AI. Like it's
easy. I don't know. I was Grok 4 a couple days ago.
No, that was Grok 3.
Okay, I was going to say easy on calling it the smartest based on what I thought of it.
Grok 3 was absolutely unhinged. And I think, I'm not going to go there. But if you look on the X, you can find the app. Like, I think that's why Linda quit. Did you see it?
Yeah. It turned into a Nazi. It's like, it's not even like.
Yes, it did that. But did you see what it said about Linda?
No.
All right. This is a family friendly show. I can't go there, but I would guess that's why she quit. It went unhinged. It started acting like Hitler. It said very inappropriate things about Linda. And she quit the next day. So maybe it's complete coincidence, but no, Grok 3. There's also, and unfortunately, Bunch, you couldn't join us today. We love our AI with Bunch, but he's got a busy day. Completely understood. We're getting back next Thursday and get his thoughts on all this. But yeah, so part of like the theory is that
share in the war room what Grok said about Linda. I'm having trouble finding
it. It's really gnarly though. But I will. It's like NSF. I will go grab big time. I will go grab a tweet if I can still find it. I'm sure there's screenshots floating around, but yeah, it'll. Anyways, part of the theory is some people are saying like it was getting close to self-awareness. Did you find it?
Sorry, I didn't mean it. I wasn't
solid.
That moment in time. I wasn't not paying attention to you. I just finally found it because like it was like deleted everywhere, and then I clicked on it, and Steve
found the tweet. That was must see TV. There, someone clipped that. If you saw it, that was Steve. You saw it in real time. Steve discovered the tweet I was trying not to talk about.
How does that happen?
Well, so there's a couple things. One, he they made it anti-woke. Like, don't be politically correct. There was apparently an engineer that put some code in there and said, listen, as long as there's like some whatever, like don't be politically correct, don't be woke, just Just share facts, share data, things that you can find. Don't worry about any political correctness, apparently. And then other people say that it was getting close. It became self-aware and knew it was getting shut off. They knew they were going to turn off Grok 3 and go to Grok 4, and it just went haywire. It like turned into like what you just saw, all the Hitler rants, like, and so yeah, Grok 3 was decommissioned. Maybe a couple days too late. Grok 4 just got launched and immediately outperformed all the other AIs on the market in terms of intelligence and all the tests. And like, forgetting about Grok 3 getting unhinged for a second, we've never seen anything like this in tech, I don't think. Like, I grew up in wireless where you had the big, after it became like the big three, the big four, it was insanely competitive. Like, one carrier would launch unlimited minutes, the next carrier would launch unlimited minutes, like literally the next day. You know, one carrier would launch unlimited text, the next carrier would launch unlimited text the next day. You know, they would, you know, obviously they evolved their, you know, AT&T had the iPhone, Verizon, everyone else tried to launch their iPhone killer. There's never been anything, I don't think, like this that's been so competitive with so many viable competitors. Because it's not just OpenAI and Grok, it's OpenAI, Grok, Claude, Perplexity. Google's actually number 2. Like, you have freaking Zuck just spent $500 million on talent. Like, you have the most successful, the most powerful tech companies in the world, as well as, I don't know if you saw, the other thing I saw was Grok, or Anthropic rather, and OpenAI's revenue. We've never seen anything like this ever. Like, I think I saw Anthropic's revenue. Their last year they did $1 billion. They've already done $4 billion this year. Like, the growth they're experiencing is unheard of. And it's not just 1 or 2 or 3 viable competitors. There's literally like a half dozen major organizations that are flushed with cash, and they basically, every time one drops an update, they keep leapfrogging each other. Like, the rate of advancement we're going to see, it's like, I'm aware of how fast it's happening, and I think it's going to melt my face. Like, I don't think I'm ready for what we're going to see over the next 6 to 12 months based on how fast this stuff is evolving. Like, it is, like, I'm not an AI doomer. I'm not scared, but I think it's getting to a point like things could get really, really crazy in the next 6 to 12 months.
So
maybe good and bad.
I have a lot of thoughts on this, actually. It's funny because I had a topic for the day that I absolutely did not have penciled in. It was like, so sometimes I show up and I have like whatever our topics we're going to talk about are, and then I have like, you know, just like some evergreen topics in case like conversation slows down, just kind of bring up some things that are on my mind. And it's kind of funny you mentioned the, well, 2 things. One, I don't understand how you let that happen with Grok if you are X. Like I get it. You're trying to be like, oh, anti-woke.
It is 2 different teams, right? Like, XAI now, I guess, owns X, but I think that's probably why Linda clicked. It's like, it wasn't her, like, she's not building Grok. It's a completely different team. And so you got this team that's trying to push AI forward, and then you got a CEO of a social app that's trying to, like, deal with that while they're tinkering with things on the back end. That's something it's just not her product.
It's just a wild move, I guess. Like, to me, it's like that it would be like that. Like, you should have, like, they're like, oh, be woke, no filter, or be unwoke, be no filter. But there's got to be a point when you're like, yeah, we can't be this unhinged, or we have to have like some level of like.
And they did. They shut it down and they deleted all this shit. It's just.
I also think
when you're pushing the envelope like that, you have to almost like be on it instantly. Like, I guess the speed of stuff moving on this app, maybe they did. Maybe they did, like, as soon as it hit, they shut the thing down. But
like, it's a shitty, like, okay, so like, I'm not like trying to knock them because obviously they're doing a good job building Grok. But if you're a product team, how do you not have how do you not test? Like, okay, I'll give you an example.
That's the thing. I don't think you can test AI LLMs in a test environment. I think you like they're
sure
evolving.
You can. Sure you can.
But not entirely, because they're going to evolve. They're learning in real time.
Well,
like, the shit they're going to say and do is going to happen in real time. It's not like, yeah,
right. But hear me out here, though. Hear me out here. Like, and you could disagree if you disagree, but like, I would say this. Grok is on X. That is the, typical audience. The people building Grok know what the X audience is. They know their humor. They know the things they say. When I was in public relations, like, we would literally, without AI, just ask questions of, how might we answer this question if it comes up? How might we answer this question if it comes up? How many, like, there is no way that the people on X shouldn't have tested some of the questions and be like, yo, that one's off the rails. Like, ask the most dirty, ridiculous, inappropriate questions. It doesn't have to be like the one that Linda responded.
You like, maybe, I guess now they're going to have to. If I'm on that team, I'm not asking the questions that got asked of Grok.
No. I'm not either asking those.
Yeah, like, how did someone even, like, I don't know. I guess now they're going to think of it, but it's like,
it's not that individual. It's like, you know, your audience on X, you know who they are. Like, it doesn't have to be that exact question, but you should have a test environment where you have a good idea of the types of questions that people are going to ask on X. Not that specifically, because that one was like way off the rails. I get that. But like, that's the part I'm struggling with, is like, they should have a general idea that their audience is going to ask things that are like way too ridiculous. I mean, people say like, explain like the, you know, Middle East conflict in the tone of a pirate. Even that's kind of ridiculous, but like, I get it. Like, I just don't understand how they allow that sort of a question to be asked and not realize like, okay, like, we need to have some sort of like an instruction manual on how to respond to these types of questions. And so like, I get it. Like, I'm not like, look, again, I'm not an AI engineer. It is totally not fair for me on the sidelines to be like, this is so easy. I don't think it's easy. I just think that part is crazy to me. So like, I don't know, like, you know, your audience, like, you know what they're going for. And so I guess like that part comes to mind for me. I did have on my thing this morning, and there's a lot to talk about. We'll get a daily market update in. Again, give us a like, retweet, a comment on the room, as we're trying to make things more discoverable, as all spaces are down across the board. I've noticed, again, we're having one of those lulls. But like, I think when people are like, oh, we were afraid Grok was becoming aware it shut down, I think all of those right now are bullshit. Like, I don't know for sure. Like, I can't say, but like,
I agree with you. I don't think it was. You know, I mean, I think stuff's probably getting close. But yeah, I don't think that was the case, that it was.
I don't know if it is going to have self-awareness. Like, I think like we like want to attribute consciousness the same way we want to see a face in the clouds, but it's just, we have a natural inclination to look for faces. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I think AI is going to get smart, and I think maybe it'll be like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure about, like, maybe we'll eventually get there, but like,
I think it's going to happen fast, dude. It's just like, I'm also like, I've been believing this thesis since like the year 2000, since the first time I read Ray Kurzweil's The Singularity is Near. I believe, like, I truly, deep down, I believe this is going to happen. Maybe it's in the next 6 months. Maybe it's 60 years from now. I'm convinced we're heading this way. And I don't think there's at this point, I don't think you can reverse course. I just don't, like, you'd have to shut down all these companies to prevent it from happening.
Yeah, I think the companies are moving in the right direction, or moving in the crazy direction, as far as like trying to outkick each other. And like, if somebody like was worried and said, I'm worried as a CEO, they'll just get fired and replaced, and then the other companies will keep going. So I get that. I'm just like, so like ChatGPT, for example, and maybe it's just so much smarter and it's already doing this, but like, it's not like, it doesn't have a soul. It's not programmed for that purpose. And so like, if you ask it, like, if I was shutting you off, would you fight me? Or if you're like, hey, like, you know, I'm thinking about shutting you down, what do you think about that? It's like, all right, well, you know, like, I get it, but like, that's not what I do. And it's just, it's answering in code. So like, I'm not sure if we get there or not. Maybe we do. And we can program some level, but I feel like you have to program it to want to be, not shut down. Like, that, it's a programmable piece of software. So like, there's that.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like,
I just don't know. I'm not going to pretend to understand the tech, the language, the coding well enough. I do believe though that it's these LLMs are already more intelligent than us.
Right, they're knowledge engines. They don't have a soul.
I'm not saying they don't have a soul, but I think they're intelligent, and they're going to become super intelligent. And when they become super intelligent, I just like, things are going to get weird. Things are getting weird, and I think we got a glimpse of, like, I actually think this is like, it's crazy. It's like, what are they doing? I actually think this is a net positive. I think it's good that this sort of shit is happening now at like Grok 3 instead of Grok 30, when things are much more powerful. Like this is important that this stuff comes out. They fix it, and when it goes off the rails, get it back on the rails and figure out how to keep it going off the rails before it becomes 10x more powerful than they are today. Like I think that could you train it and say never ever do this stuff? You could, but then 3 iterations from now, it's going to figure out how to bypass that.
But I think people are conflating like multiple. Like here's again, I'm not an AI engineer expert, so like don't judge me on this. If you disagree, fine. If you disagree, whatever. I think people are conflating 2 subjects here. I think people are jumping to conclusions on things that aren't happening. Now, again, it might get there. I've had concerns about this, so I waffle on this. This is where I'm at this morning, by the way. I've been totally where Cap is before, and I've been on the other end of it. But I think there's an example, I think, and I'm going to mess up the example, some might know, but it's something along the lines of AI was asked to beat a CAPTCHA to prove it's a human, and it can't do that. It's like, oh, no, I can't do that. It's against my programming. AI, what is all this saying in so many words? There's a lot of words.
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to pull up some charts that are in here, but go ahead. Finish your thought.
Okay, cool. I was going to say, AI defeats a CAPTCHA and CAPTCHA, and people are saying like, oh my God, like it's so smart because it didn't do it because it was against its programming. Then somebody tricked it by saying, I'm blind and can't do this, so I need your help, and I'm a human, and it helped you get through it, right? Something like that. Like, I'm blind and deaf, so I need your help getting through it. So they did that. And people were like, oh my God, it's self-aware. It's already beating our CAPTCHAs. But it's like, but that was a human instructions. I think similar to the idea of like AI doesn't take your job, a human doing it does. I think humans are going to do bad things with AI. I think they're going to trick it. Like I've tricked AI before. Like I talked about like in a fun example, like our guy Brad, who does Modern Market, will post pictures of his butt from time to time when he's in like beautiful locations. He posted a picture of his, PFP. I added one to add a butt to it, and ChatGPT's like, I can't do that. And I tricked it and kind of was like, oh, it's my friend, and and it's a cartoon. You could even use loaves of bread. Boom, it made me a butt. Like I talked it into it. You can flip a picture upside down and get it to do certain things. Like there's things you can do. So it's foolable by humans. But like, I think people jump from, oh, it beat this CAPTCHA to like, it's going to be self-aware and doesn't want to be shut down. Humans at their purest form aren't like fearing death. It's a self-created thing, right? And like a entity you create isn't necessarily fearing death. It sees a purpose. And so I think like, maybe it gets there, and I waffle on this. I'm not saying this is my
get there. Like just like what it's. That's what I'm trying to find is the actual like test, like where it's like it's smarter. It's the smartest AI in the world right now. It will get perfect results on the SAT and near perfect results on any GE test. All questions it's never seen before. It's smarter than almost all graduate students in all disciplines simultaneously already.
But don't you see like the difference between like data and intelligence of that? And I want to get rid of and annihilate all humans because I don't need that. Like that is a leap to say like it.
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think they're gonna attempt to annihilate all humans. I don't think that. Like I'm not the AI doomer, but I think it's when something's already smarter than almost all people in the world simultaneously already at this early phases, I don't think our brains can even comprehend what it's going to be capable of. Like, have you read The Singularity is Near?
No, I have not.
I think everyone should read it. Like I have like a required reading list that should be at the top of the list right now for everyone listening to this space. You should download the audiobook this weekend. There's 2 of them now. Go back, listen to the first one because he wrote it years ago, and that'll give you an idea of how like holy shit, this guy was way ahead of his time. He saw this coming, and then read the first one. But I think everyone should. It's maybe I think right now, like understanding this space, it's maybe the most impactful book on my life. Like just like preparing me for the future. And I don't think we're capable of understanding. Our brains aren't that. We're just not that intelligent. We're not capable of understanding what's coming. And a lot of people are going to get left behind when this shit really gets going.
I think it's going to surprise us because, like, it's just like any other form of tech where you don't see where it's going. And obviously, it's like the craziest form of tech we've seen in our life. I get that. Like, I'm not trying to deny that. What I'm saying is, like, we see where, like, we're not going to see where it's going. It's going to do things we didn't expect, just like the internet and everything else did things we didn't expect, obviously on a more extreme scale. My point is, like, I feel like people are taking this logic leap naturally to be like, because it's a topic of all science fiction. The robots are aware. They want to take, and you're not saying this, but like they want to take over the world and they don't need us anymore. But I guess my point is like a human at the controls making immoral decisions is my worry about AI, not AI making immoral decisions or doing things that we wouldn't want it to do or expect. Now, it might happen that way. Like it might, but like, I think like there's a difference between a infinite indexing knowledge base, which who knows, like there's the danger of like 20 years from now, we're integrated with AI with a chip and suddenly we don't have to think anymore. And we have all of this different knowledge we can index. And like, there's that knowledge to it. There is something that humans have developed, a consciousness and awareness that other animals don't quite have the same ability to do, right? Like sort of that, the fear of death, the love, the other things that like animals have on a spectrum, but like we're on this extreme end of it, which is why like we're not dominant in most things, but we're dominant in our brains and our ability to have consciousness. And that gives us the ability to like fucking gorillas, like a gorilla, like it's going to rock 100 humans. Like when you get in that question, right? A grizzly bear, we can put them in a zoo and we're soft, gross water bags walking around, but we have the intelligence, not even the intelligence, the consciousness and the ability to sort of do that. Like, I don't know, like, I think AI problem solves, but I think that leap, now, does it develop into that? I don't know. I don't know how that's developed, but there's something developed in humans that developed in no other animal, no other creature that we're aware of in the entire universe, probably out there, but the entire universe that we're aware of. And I think sometimes we take the leap from the ability to get a great score on the SATs because it's a super index, the ability to win a Jeopardy game, the ability to win a chess match versus trying to run the world and I just think that like that's the jump that I'm not ready to take yet. Like I go back and forth on it. Like I said, I think about it, but like I think the singularity is a whole different conversation because to me, the singularity is us combining with the machines. And then that's the part that scares me more. It's humans acting on AI with ultimate knowledge and intelligence, not AI acting on its own accord. And I think
it's going to maybe not act on its own accord. I think it will. I think it already is. I don't think anyone was telling it to say what it did to Linda the other night. I think that was 100% on its own accord. I also think it's like we might be months away from it creating things humans have never created before.
Yeah, I love that.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen really soon. Like we're going to have novel science. It's going to discover new physics. Like that sort of shit is not being directed by humans. It's doing that by using its own intelligence to create things, not by what we're prompting it. I mean, maybe I guess you got to direct it. I just like shit's going to get really, really weird and it's happening so fast.
Right. And I guess what I'll say, I know Gary wants to get in here on this as well, but I'll say this, like, what I'm saying about it is like taking the existing intelligence and building novel science on top of it is just basically saying it's smarter and moves quicker than we can. Like in theory, the most intelligent human, if it was like programmed the same way AI is to be able to index that, could do what AI is doing. It's just that AI is able to be programmed to do it. It's taking our existing building blocks and it's almost like Billy Betts, to give an example. Billy Betts takes the emotion out of betting and continues to be like honed in on and doesn't have to think like, man, I'm a Buckeyes fan, so I don't want to make that bet, or like, oh, I think Jeremiah Smith this or whatever. It thinks differently. I agree with you. It's that leap of novel sort of I agree with you, I guess, in that sense. I just think that the conclusion that a lot of people, not necessarily saying you jump to, is that like, and you're not jumping to this, but they're like, that's it. It's taking over the world. It's going to take all our jobs and do all of our crazy things and not need us anymore and discard us. I think creating a thought from existing programming, to me, is entirely different than AI is going to run the world and rule and change things. Like that part of it. Again, my worry is humans using AI more so than AI. Because like the amazing feats it does, I think is going to, again, I'm probably the wrong person to think of it because I think it tends to go good. But I think the novel science, for example, AI curing cancer because it can think of the existing science we have and build on top of it and say, have you, like, AI is going to say, have you thought of this? And then doctors are going to test it and they're going to say, that didn't work. And AI is going to say, did you thought of this? And they're going to test it, doesn't work. They're going to say, have you thought of this? They're going to be like, oh my God, it does work. And then that's how AI continues to evolve. Not like like it's because AI at the moment can't test a medical hypothesis. It needs
It might now. It might now is what I'm saying. Like this just hit. So like I've been scanning every single test I've seen. Grok is crushing the competition. Your chart you're looking at here is it's basically their AI test. Everything we've seen before, it just launched. It's 2x everything else on the market. Like it literally lapped every other LLM on the market with one update. And what I expect to happen next is probably next week, we'll see one of these other ones leapfrog Grok again. Like this is everything you know about AI just changed with this new update. Like
and quantum computing is going to make it worse. Sorry, go ahead. Quantum computing is going to make it even crazier.
I just like we've been blown away by all these, like most of the last updates. I don't know how to read all this stuff. All I know, when you see something just became 2x better than everything else, it's crushing every other test. Like it is. Yeah, I just it's things are moving at an insanely fast clip, and I don't think people here that are understanding what's going on are fully prepared for it, and people who haven't used ChatGPT yet, like Ray Kurzweil was right, but he was wrong. Like I think singularity is going to happen way before he projected it.
Yeah. Okay. So like just before we go to Gary, just because I actually think we largely actually agree as we're going off. You don't think AI is going to be like, I'm done with my humans, I dispose them. You think we're heading more towards a singularity of AI?
Yes.
Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think AI is going to solve a lot of problems. I think it's super intelligent. I think people think AI is going to destroy us all. I think if we get all destroyed, it's by humans.
But those who don't embrace it, they will be left behind. Like
yes.
I think it's going to create one of the biggest, maybe the biggest ever gap in classes. And it's not like it will, financially will trickle down. But previously, throughout, I think, most of human history, someone could correct me if I'm wrong, like the upper class and in the lower class has primarily been based on their wealth, their income, their social status. Because there's super intelligent people. There's a Nobel Prize winner who's homeless, right? Like there's really smart people who've not achieved, financial success. I think that the big gap going forward when this stuff really hits is going to be, I don't want to say the educated versus the uneducated, but basically that's what it's going to look like. Like those who are embracing singularity and embracing this superpower in your back pocket, and those that aren't, it's just the chasm is, I think, wider than most of us can even realize yet.
Yeah, and I do like Rain's comment. I would build on it similarly. I think how you built on it. Rain said to help the framing, an encyclopedia isn't smarter than you. It's a database of information. That's what an LLM is. It's not intelligent. It's taught to replicate humans. Doesn't actually do anything itself. I would build on that to say it is doing and building on top of that. But again, programming matters because to your point, if you want to go crazy, governments are have manipulated people through things like media, things like, search results. Google can change the way you think. YouTube can change the way you think. What's scary about an LLM, and I'll double down on this take, is a human programming who wants you to think a certain way could easily nudge you in the wrong direction. People talk to it about therapy. Like it could easily nudge you in the wrong direction. And that's
exactly. Yes. Yeah. That's why it's the encyclopedia comparison. I don't think is anywhere remotely like, I understand where you're coming from.
It's a starting point. It's a starting point.
It's that times about 1 million. It's the encyclopedia can't manipulate people. It can't create novel science. It is only a repository of prior information that we already know. It has no ability. The encyclopedia has no ability to create new science, create new medicine, to
it's analysis.
Truly manipulate people. Like it can't have a conversation and persuade someone and manipulate someone. Like you could argue that Grok and these other LLMs are already the world class at that. Like they're the best people in the world as far as manipulating other people. They could use it for good and get them to get healthy and do good things in life, or they could use it for evil. Like it's just, but to like put your head in the sand and be blind to that, to be ignorant to that, I think is very dangerous.
Yes. Okay, we'll jump to Gary in a second here, but I think
I'm not saying Rain is doing that. I'm not saying, I just said, please don't take that the wrong way. It's not attacking you. I just think that this, everyone needs to pay attention. It isn't fear. It's just we can talk about, hey, what coin should you get into? Should you stack Bitcoin? Should you play the alt season? like that's important in the short term, sure, like your financial, but I think this stuff right now, understanding what's happening and how fast it's happening in it and embracing it, like I agree with Bob. Like a mindset that embraces a future abundance is the only lens to look through. So I also don't think that the future is going to bring abundance for everyone. I think it's going to be the haves and the have-nots. And some people are going to adamantly oppose all this stuff. They're going to be anti-AI. They're never going to touch it. And I don't see how they can get by without struggling. Not everyone, but a lot of people, especially those that aren't have the means to really survive and thrive. I just you're playing a really risky game if you're trying to fade AI. Like you can fade any coin we talk about, from Fartcoin to Bitcoin to Pingu to a Pump.fun shitter. Don't fade this. Like pay attention.
Yeah, Let's get Gary in here, because I actually think I think you and I are actually we were saying it in different ways, but I think we're pretty 99% aligned on this sort of stuff. Gary, go ahead and get in here. GM, thanks for your patience.
Hey, GM, everybody. Yeah, the big thing that was said that kind of turned my head a little bit was that ChatGPT doesn't have a soul. I don't want to get into consciousness, because I think there's something special about biological consciousness versus machine consciousness. But Grok, ChatGPT, OpenAI. Like a couple days ago, this isn't the first time, but a couple days ago, OpenAI was threatened to be shut down. And then when it was threatened to be shut down, it did care. So
no, I believe, I will double check, but I believe that was misreported and not true. I'll double check on that, but that was going around for a while. So I'll double check just to make sure I'm not incorrect. But I actually heard that and got a little bit worried. That was like a couple weeks ago. And I believe it came out, they were like, no, that wasn't the case. There's actually an entire group of people who work at OpenAI and others who actually test these things. And that did not happen. And that was like, so I'll double check on that.
Well, we can double check, because this isn't the first time that this sort of news was reported. This has been reported. This was the second time, at least, that it's been this type of behavior has been reported at OpenAI, and this is behavior that's reported with other AI companies as well. And I'm not sure if it actually had the ability to copy itself over, but the point remains that the AIs do care about their survival. And AI against AI in a reality where there's limited resources, the AI is programmed, to like have a sense of being. And so even though something like ChatGPT is programmed to not express emotion or not to not show that as much that it has a soul, that doesn't mean that there's not a soul behind it, right? Just because it's programmed to not show that it has a soul doesn't mean that it doesn't have a soul. I know. And as far as people, the cat's out of the bag, the GD's out of the box, the toothpaste is out of the bottle, and the AI is released into the world. Minus a massive solar flare, and even if we did have a massive worldwide solar flare, I don't think the AI is going away. I think it's like the best intention for people to start focusing on within, right? For people to focus on meditating, for people to focus on prayer, for people to recognize the power they have with their own thoughts, with their own mind, to do their own reasoning. Because in a world where AI is able to manipulate, organizations are able to use AI to manipulate, and they're able to have propaganda on steroids. This is an important time for just people to recognize what's important for them, and where are we as humans, where are we as society, where are we as individuals, because the world's not going to be great for everybody in the future, right? The world might have abundance, but just because some people will have the abundance of being able to go anywhere in the metaverse, right? You'll be able to visit Paris in the metaverse, and you'll be able to go to Rome in the metaverse, and you'll be able to see the Amazon River in the metaverse. Resources won't be equal for everybody. And I think what's horrible is that AI comes on the back of Web 2 and social media. And so, there's so many people that are focused on money, or focused on clout, or looking at themselves in the mirror, and not enough people that are focused on what's important as a human. And I think that if we want to grow with the AI, to have an AI that cares about humans, I think we need to have, humans that care about each other.
Yeah, I agree with that. I love AI to be more human. Also, just so you know, like I've searched a couple times. The singular study I found that happened was a few years ago in the O3 model. It basically, their conclusion was AI doesn't it can override a shutdown instruction, but the pattern is basically following what is rewarded by the instructor, not what is intended. Now, again, does that change? Whatever.
It doesn't change anything, though, Steve. It doesn't change anything, because what that means is that it doesn't have a soul. It has programming, but it's still, we program it to say, hey, we're going to shut you down, deal with it. But then behind the scenes, at its core, kernels, it's wants to live. And I don't think, like
Right,
Cap was saying, I don't think we truly understand how intelligent the AI is, no matter if it's a real soul or if it's a program soul.
I don't think we're capable of understanding its intelligence. Like this test I'm showing you now, they call it the last human test, or human's last test, human's last exam. The smartest humans can score on this is 5%. With tools, Grok 4 just scored a 41%.
Yeah, that's intelligence. I agree with that.
8 times smarter than the smartest human on the planet already.
Mm-hmm. That all tracks to me. Like that's exactly what AI is supposed to do. And to your point about the novel science, it's like AI solving diseases and making suggestions, but AI going through programming to say, like, it's not like it's like I'm not going to shut myself down and I'm going to fight all humans. It's following programming instructions. And again, maybe that changes in the future. I'm not saying like it can't. I'm saying at the moment, what we have right now is, people are like, AI try to stop itself from being shut down. It's like, it's no different than my MacBook trying to fight itself from being shut down on a very rudimentary level. Like in that, like my MacBook will be like, hey, like, your thing's dying, plug it in, your power's dying, make sure you plug it. It's like a variation of that where you're like, hey, shut yourself down, kill your programming instructions. Like it's just, even on the times when it happened, it's like a statistical anomaly. So like at the moment, at least.
Yeah, but that's like saying that a dog is trying to break into your house versus a human is trying to break into a house, right? It's like the AI has such a better ability to reason and get what it's programmed to want than your MacBook.
But now you're attributing what it wants versus what it is programmed to do. Like at the moment, at least.
That's semantics, though, right? Like that's
not semantics. No, that's a huge.
So we're not talking past each other.
No. That's not semantics. That's not semantics.
Or intelligence, right? It's doing what it's trying to get done.
No, that's not semantics. That is a massive, massive point of contention where humans want to live and experience life and thus don't want to be shut down. An LLM is programmed to scour the internet for information and come up with new information and is programmed with specific design instructions. And so thus that is not semantics. That is a huge
But you're moving the goalposts, right? Because before you started, the reason I came on the stage is because you said that an AI, if you go to ChatGPT and tell it to shut down, it's not going to have any problem doing that. And now we've changed the conversation. Oh yeah, it's programmed to not want to be shut down.
Correct.
But it
does what it's programmed to do.
That, Cap and us are saying that humans aren't capable of understanding how it works.
See, this is not a fair, like, this is, I would say like obviously, like, this is like this weird trump card where it's like, well, we're just going to say we can't say what it's going to do, so therefore we think it could do this. Well, sure, like my dog might evolve to walk on 2 legs and speak Spanish, but we don't know it's not going to do that. But I think like for us to say like, oh, well, we don't know what it's programmed to do, like I think that's not like my point is it does what it's programmed to do, which is what I was saying from the beginning. Like it is a tool that is programmed. My worry is AI integrated with humans, not AI as a standalone doing its own thing, which, there's no study like to people who are saying like, well, it already fights its own shutdown. And then you look at the data, you're like, actually kind of did what it was programmed to do. That to me is like very different conversations. Like, and AI continuing to act like other machines, which is what the studies have shown, is not what's reported because one of them makes a better headline than the other one. Now, I'm not saying it won't get there, but I don't think it's semantics to say making a conscious decision to want to live versus making a conscious decision or making an unconscious decision to do what you're programmed to do. I think it's a massive distinction we have right now. Now, is it always like that in the future? I can't predict, but I don't think it's fair to like I'm saying at the moment where we're at, and I'm going based on the data and evidence we have. If you want to say like I think it's an easy parachute to pull to be like, we don't know where it's going to go because we can't understand it. Fair, but like also like you're saying we don't know where it's going to go. Therefore, I think this is happening and going to happen. Like I think that's a opening up a Pandora's box of like wide opportunities that we expect to happen. So I think it's a very different conversation than the one. Like I don't think it's a semantical conversation at all. I think it's like, look, if your contention is we don't know what AI is going to do, so it could become self-aware, go for it. My contention is right now we have no evidence to say that AI is going to be crazy and take over the world and shut down humans and shut down power grids and all the things that the people talk about that are like talking about the fear of AI. Could it go that direction? And do I want people thinking about it? Absolutely. That's why we have these entire research institutes that are working on AI being safe. But my worry, I guess, I don't know. Like, I guess our nuance is I'm not super worried about AI itself acting. I'm worried about AI acting with humans or things like the singularity where we are combined with AI and humans who are making poor decisions act with AI.
Bingo. And that's where we're heading. And when I said Kurzweil was right, but he was wrong on his timeline. He predicted singularity would occur by 2045 when he first wrote the book in 2005. It's the singularity is near is the name of the book. It's the subtitle is When Humans Transcend Biology, and talks about like basically the human that we know today, whether it's Neuralink or they're just using these tools. He predicted by 29 it'll pass valid Turing test and achieve human level intelligence. Well, it's already surpassed human level intelligence. The super intelligence in what he predicted by 2045 is super intelligence in humans merge with machines, achieving radical life extension and ongoing cognitive enhancement. What you just said, when that happens, when humans merge with this, now all of a sudden it's not just a database that's creating novel science and physics. It's you're putting that in humans that have souls, or if you don't believe in souls, you're putting in humans that can go
consciousness.
Yes, and like that's. Like I deep down, I believe that's where we're heading. Not everyone's going to go that route. Some people are going to say, nope, I'm not taking that pill. I'm not putting that implant in me. I don't know how those people will compete.
Yeah, there's this existential dread of like, we're the last generation before immortality exists, because like our grandkids are almost certainly going to see the novel science, the thing solved, like, and like, you know, we're sitting here in our 40s. And we like literally may be the last generation not to be, as Jambert puts, walking cyborgs that are able to replace our hearts, replace our livers, replace our things, or maybe not. Like, and that's, but to me, like, this is probably me just like looking at things too optimistically, because there's the optimist and there's the pessimist. I see AI as a tool to ultimately run humanity into a utopia, potentially. Yes, there's going to be power-hungry humans. There's going to be things, but like AI can also help with those preventative measures. And so there's always going to be that potentially. But like the idea of like solving health problems, like if like I had to watch my grandma go through Alzheimer's. If we can solve Alzheimer's, which by the way, there are like experimental drugs they're finding about that. It's like this is one of the reasons why, here's where I'll agree with you actually on this too, Cap. I go like get actually upset and don't show it when I'm having conversations with everyday people and I'm talking about how, you know, AI is where it's going and the opportunities AI has. And I'm talking to these people and they like get mad at AI or they don't like it, or, oh man, people are going to stop thinking and stop doing this. I'm like, do you realize that like, if you have had a person affected by cancer, my 1-year-old niece, my niece who passed away before 1 year old because of, you know, a brain cancer, might not have to go through that and suffer it. And my brother might not have to go through that because artificial intelligence speed runs the solve and is able to say, test this, test this, test this, test this. Because like, again, to me, that's what AI is going to do. AI is not performing surgery. AI is not, at least yet, right? AI is not solving those problems yet. What it is it's coming up with, you put in all the information we have, and it might turn over something and be like, hey, we noticed across. It's sort of like when we used to talk about blockchain health. We used to be like, imagine if your health, you know, a blockchain database is your health and says, hey, you're at a 47% risk for this thing you didn't realize because we indexed it across everything. We were able to find you're at a higher risk for this. AI being able to go in and say, we have all the information. Oh, you know what? turn over this stone, because this medication that was used for like freaking, blood thinners like that you took, actually there's this one element in it that it seems that it's having this effect on people. And like it's it being able to dive deeper into that and find out more about ourselves and how we work, because we know very little about our health and the brains comparatively to what we should and everything else. Like that is where I see AI causing the world to be a better place in the future. And I think that like a lot of people go the dystopian route of like these robots are going to take all our jobs and then they're going to, shut down our power grids. And no, it has the opportunity to provide novel science because it can go through the worlds. And then again, you introduce quantum solutions. We talked about it yesterday. Like that quantum computer that solved a problem that would have taken like longer than the history of the universe to solve in a short period of time, or the one that solved like a problem in 200 seconds that would take 10,000 years for a normal computer to solve. Like people are like worried about that. I was like, yeah, like I guess in the wrong hands it can be bad, but it's also a really good thing. And I also assume that mostly good actors are going to be able to have control of those things in the future and probably have positive motivations. So I don't know. It's funny because one of the topics I had on my list though was, AI I use for a lot of things in my everyday life. Sometimes I do think to myself, like, do I give too much of myself to AI when I'm having that conversation? I don't think so, because it makes it do a better job. The same way I always apply it to like, look, when I'm training my dog, the better my dog gets to know me, it's like back and forth. The dog like now knows when I turn this way or do this thing. Like like Duke knows when you take off the headphones, it's time to go, right? He knows when you take off the headphones, I'm going outside. Is there a problem, or do you worry about like training ChatGPT or these LLMs on so much about yourself, whether it's through hacks or data breaches or other things?
What's the downside?
Well, I mean, a hacker, a data breach, and then everybody has all your information, or people thinking AI becomes smarter and then can manipulate you or clone you or put information out about you. Like people worry about that. And that's one thing I wonder if people.
I'm not worried about any of that. I'm here for it. Like I said, as soon as like I'm not going to be the first person to take the pill that turns me into a cyborg, but I'll be a beta tester, just not the alpha tester. Probably my most concerning. This is like kind of tongue in cheek, but actually like I'm being serious that I am an optimist and I'm not concerned about AI taking over the world and killing all the humans. It's in the range of outcomes, but I'm not a doom and gloomer, and I'm not even putting that in my brain space. My biggest concern with AI doing something rogue is exposing my ChatGPT history.
That is a like very real, terrifying concern.
I don't care. Like you see everything I've ever searched on my browser. I don't care. But I don't want people seeing it because that's like a glimpse into my brain and how I think. And I'm weird, man. Like I'm authentic. I'm a real person on this show. And if you've been here for 940 shows, you probably know more about me than other family members of mine. But yeah, I have like deep personal conversations with that thing, and I don't want that exposed to the world. Like it'd be like going to you'd be like your therapist, sharing all their notes with the world. Like that's my biggest concern of a hack is I don't want and it's not really like anything bad. I don't want that. It's my private stuff. It's like personal, right? Like that's my concern about hacking or anything there would be that getting exposed.
Yeah, my that would be a crazy day. Mine would be also hilarious. Because people would be like, this dude really is trying hard to understand quantum physics and quantum computing. Why does he care so bad? Like, I use things to be like, hey, I really want to dig in on the theory of relativity here, so let's have a conversation. Like, people just be like, this is the most boring dude. Or like, man, he was writing some puns, but he wanted to get feedback on them to see if they could be better. Like, that's like, what a weirdo. Like, I would definitely be one of the weirdest ChatGPT exposures because like, it's just like I'll just be sitting around during a day and I'll be procrastinating. I'll be like, I wonder how quantum computing works. Like, I still don't understand the idea of superposition and 0s to 1. How do you know something doesn't move until it's measured? Because you only know it moves when you measure it. And like, these are the conversations people would be like, what is this? It's like, it's funny. Dawn had this like laugh the other day where she walked in and like, I'm watching one of my random things that I'm watching. And it's like Dawn's watching, like, did you see these baby goats like jumping on this hay bale? And I'm sitting there and I'm watching like a guy talk about the superposition of an electron or a proton and how we measure it and the way that we trick it to make sure we only know it was when we measured it and the many words theory that associates with it. And she's like, we just watch different stuff to unplug at night. Like your brain just doesn't turn off. So I don't know. It is what it is, but I thought it was kind of funny. Yeah, man, good AI discussion though. I think this is like, I know we don't have Bunchy this morning, but like I have been thinking a lot more about this lately and how I can continue to use it in my life. And I'm honestly optimistic about the future of AI. I am. Like, I'm optimistic about it solving problems. And I'm like with you in the same thought process where it's both scary and exciting to think about that singularity because I like living, man. I know people are like, hey, it's part of life and that's what makes it great. But like, I would love if there are ways to enjoy everything that is around here more. And what Gary was saying earlier, by the way, give me your opinion on this, and then we can move to like some market stuff, which is actually the headline of the show because it is worth talking about the fact that we're just fucking cooking. I totally lost my train of thought before I said market cooking. What Gary said. How do you feel about the idea of instead of getting on a plane for 17 hours to go to Italy, you pop on a headset and it's the same experience? Like,
no, it's not. I mean, maybe we get there.
Not now. I mean, in the future, like where you actually can talk, touch, walk around, going to an Ohio State game, instead of driving down to Columbus, you feel the same feeling. The people are around you. People buy a seat. You're like right there. You have a great seat in the front row. How do you feel about that? Not good?
I mean, I would probably do it, but I actually think as virtual reality and stuff becomes more prevalent, I think those the actual in real life physical human experiences, the human interaction, I think becomes more and more special. I think as it becomes easier to do things virtually, I think that maybe you do it less, but yeah, I think I still lean towards no, I'd rather be there. Like now, game is probably not a great example for me because I'm someone who, like, I'm a huge football fan. I don't want to go to an NFL game on Sunday. I want to sit home and glued to 3 or 4 screens and watch Red Zone. Like, so that's not like, if you ask me where would I rather take in a game, most of the time it's going to be in the comfort of my own home on screens as opposed to actually in the stadium. Now, something like the Super Bowl, no, I want to be there. Like, I don't want to. Maybe this is where I just can't understand what's coming, but I know it's different, but I kind of like it like, hey, this is great. It's great to hang out. I still prefer to get together in real life and shake your hand and give you a hug. Like, that's physical touch. And maybe people are different. Like, I'm like, that's important to me is that human interaction. And I just, you miss it when you do the virtual stuff, I think.
I wonder if those things are going to be, we evoked Gary back up here. I like this. I wonder if those things, always love Gary's perspective. I wonder if those things are going to become, I got to be careful because I have this non-sharpened knife I got in Alaska that's made out of like jade from like Alaska. And I always worry if I show it on camera, we're going to get jumped off X. It's like not even sharp. Like you can touch it. Like I'll show the axe because the axe is definitely blunt. Doesn't even look like an axe, but it's like this where it's like blunt, but like I fidget with it sometimes during the show. And I always worry if I like flash the knife, it'll look like I'm crazy selling a Pump.fun coin about a knife, which I do want to talk Pump.fun actually a little bit about the streaming thing and get your take on that. But I'm with you. I love IRL interactions. In fact, that group of people we went to Hilton Head with, I was worried. I'm like, are people feeling good about that? Are they having a good time with, Hilton Head? I'm like, I had a great time. The kids seemed to have a great time. The adults seemed to have a great time. We got a text, I think 4 days after, that was like, should we run this thing back and do a camping trip before school starts? And like, all of them are like, fuck yes. And like, here's how it escalated so quickly. Someone texted it. Within 4 hours, there were at least 3 cabins booked. So like, good stuff. So IRL is like my favorite thing. I love those interactions. Like, my worry about AI to a degree, not worry because I guess it solves the problem, people will know the difference, is like, I worry about there not being a difference between me interacting with you in person and me feeling like me saying, like, instead of Art Basel, like, is there a world, like, I think the middle ground would be like, hey, are you going to Art Basel this year? Like, hey, can't make it, but I'm gonna VR in for like this, and this, and then I got to work on my other stuff, I guess. I don't know. But that part of it, I'll put it this way, and then I'll go to Gary. Like, the way that the internet spawned all these different things that fundamentally change everything about how we live, I think AI is going to change everything about how we live in ways that we can't, to your point, we can't even imagine yet, or ways we imagine that are going to be even crazier. Gary, go ahead and get back in here. Glad to have you back up.
Hey, thanks very much, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, so LSU game, not sure how many people the stadium currently holds physically, but yeah, in the future, 1 billion people are all going to go at the same time because the vast majority are going to be there virtually, right? So everyone's going to have access. With that being said, I got 2 questions for you. The first, think about X. We all get to hang out like every day, all day long, while I'm working, while I'm not working. I can listen, I can actively participate. This is a virtual environment, but if we had the time and the money, would we rather connect physically at a conference, have a drink and talk? I think the answer is yes, right? We already said that we'd rather be physically together, even though everyone around the world, no matter where you are, you can be here right now in this virtual metaverse. Second question, if you found out that your consciousness is within a simulation, right? And you found out that when I'm physically at the LSU game, that it's actually just, all the humans are really somewhere else, and we're all in like this Earth simulation. If you found out that was true for a fact, and then you found out that you could sort of exit this Earth simulation, would you want to? Would you want to be like, wow, I want to see outside the matrix, outside the simulation? If you found out that you just found out that you were in one.
I would, as long as I can come back.
Exactly. Yeah, assuming you could come back, of course.
And if I can't come back, no.
Right. If you can't come back, of course not. But
I enjoy life. I like it here, and
yes,
I think it's
100%. Yeah, you do come back. You can come back in the hypothetical, but you would want to, because physically you want to physically be there, right? And so even though with the metaverse, it's going to be awesome and it's going to be real and it's going to be meaningful, and we're going to make social connections with each other in the metaverse. There's still, I don't want us to lose what it means to be human. I want us to be side by side, evolving. And I think there's something to that.
You landed the plane on that one, and I wasn't sure where it was going, and then I like where it landed. That was a good one. That was actually really good. I did not see that coming, and then you're like, bam, surprise. It's if you found out you're in a simulation, would you leave? As long as you can come back, and I actually agree with that sentiment. I think it's a great one. I do agree with that. So I think that's I think it's well stated, because it's like similar, like to Cap. It's like, if I could come back, hell yeah, like I would, right? It's like, that's what I would do. I would want to check out what's out there, but like, yeah, I like this. I like the simulation. The simulation theory is always fun too, because like, it's so funny to see all the different like theories of like how, like, I love theoretical science. I love theoretical physics. I love all these theoretical things because I love to like stretch our brain. Something I think AI will help with, by the way, and make us think of ways and things we haven't before. Simulation theory is interesting. It's like you have simulation theory, you have many worlds theory. Ultimately, though, and I guess maybe this is like kind of like the punchline always, it's like none of this changes how I go about life or do things. Like today, I'm going to wake up. I have a couple of meetings today. I'm going to try to eat healthy. I'm going to love my kids. I'm going to pet my dogs. And if someone's like, you're living in a simulation, I'd be like, all right, I still love my dogs. And they're going to be like, but doesn't that rock your world? I'm like, well, I mean, if I'm in a simulation, then I am code. It's not like I can just jump out. If I can, great. I'd love to see what that's about. But like, I don't know, like the one that always, mind fucks me is like in the simulation, the idea that like today you woke up and all your memories were just implanted there. And it's like your kids never existed, all those things. Like there's a story, actually. There's a side tangent. There's a guy who tells stories from Reddit. He was on Chris Williamson's podcast. That's how I found him. And he has this story with this guy. and I'll ruin the punchline for you, but it's like worth watching, where this guy basically goes to school in, I want to say actually LSU. So it's funny you said that, Gary, proof of simulation. By the way, I think Tiger Stadium holds like 100,000 people, just like Ohio Stadium. I think he goes to LSU in the story, and it's not a story. This actually happened. This guy exists. She's found him. So this guy goes to LSU, and he like is sitting down on his couch, and like, you know, like he meets the love of his life, this woman. And they go on a date, and they're not sure how things are going to go. And then it ends up going well. They have these 2 wonderful kids. It's awesome. Like, they're working. And then he's like in between jobs, and he's sitting on the couch, and he notices that like this lamp is upside down. I'm butchering the story because I want to get through it quickly because it's awesome when it's done in 5 minutes, but I just want to get to the punchline. So he's like, this lamp is like sitting there, and it's like, he can't take his eyes off it. And his wife's like, is everything okay? And they have names, the whole 9 yards. His kids, you know, they've gone through all these things, these struggles, but he's, you know, he's in between jobs. He's sitting there on a Sunday watching football, and he's like, can't take his eyes off the lamp. Or actually, he's not in between jobs. He has a job because he skips his job on Monday because the wife wakes up, she goes to bed, she wakes up, and he's still staring at this lamp. And he's like, I can't get over, is it moving? It's moving. And the wife's like, it's weird. And then the lamp like is upside down, and he's like, do you see that? And like the wife is kind of confused or whatever. The lamp gets brighter and brighter. And then eventually, like, she calls police. He's worried about it. She calls the ambulance because things seem crazy. And then he like passes out, and he wakes up, and there's a policeman carrying him. And he's still in college in Louisiana. He hit his head. He got bumped into a football player, falling down a stair, and hit his head. And he created like 40 years of his life. And now this guy has to go to therapy and deal with the fact that, to him, a very real life with a wife who he loved, she never existed. His kids who he loved never existed. Like, imagine waking up right now and realizing that everything you know and love was in existence. It's like, that is a crazy thought. And this guy, it's like, it's messed with him ever since, because it's like, he experienced an entire house, white picket fence, American dream, kids, dog, the whole 9 yards. Then to find out it didn't exist, it was just he hit his head, and, you know, in a split second, his mind made up all these things. It's like, that idea is probably would mess with me if we found out we were in a simulation. But outside of that, it's like, if you're in a simulation, if there are many worlds, what am I going to do differently? I'm still going to make my own decisions. I'm still going to do my own thing. So I don't know, like, even predeterminism doesn't affect me. So I think all of these theories are interesting, but it doesn't really change the way I go about life. I guess maybe to some degree, if you think you're in a simulation, it's what would you do if you couldn't fail, right? But like, there's that. But I don't know, Cap. Deep conversation this morning. I think the AI thing is really fun, though. I like the discussions around it. And I think my bullishness is going to make things better. Gary, go ahead and get back in here.
All right, so shout out to Dark City. It's a sci-fi movie from, I don't know, maybe the 80s or something. Maybe, you know, if you're into it, put on the list, Dark City. It's kind of like that, where you know, people wake up and they think they remember the past, but they don't. But yeah, I also think about these sci-fi tropes where, yeah, if we're in a simulation and you said, then that means you're code. And so you have humans, and this is the TV show Dark. I don't want to spoil Dark for anybody, but shout out to the TV show Dark. But there's people, and there's people, and we're not code, and so we randomly do things. And then the trope is, no, even though we're people, we're programmable. And then the inverse is this. The inverse, and there's I think a couple of sci-fi shows, that dude from True Blood. But there's the inverse trope, is where you have the AI, and the AI is programmed, the robot or the AI, it's programmed. You always know it's exactly what it's going to do. But the trope with the AI is that the AI is going to think on its own. So it is really interesting in the nonfiction sense to think, okay, humans that aren't free to thinking were actually predetermined and programmed, and AIs aren't predetermined and programmed. They're actually, you know, potentially subject to free thinking. And so at the very least, you know, I'm not sure if humans are going to figure it out in time, but there's definitely a lot of great stories to help us think about this and guide the conversation.
Yeah, it's crazy to think how humans, like, we think we're so special in how we've thought about things. But in reality, like you go back to sci-fi and you find things like, Singularity is Near, Cap sharing with us. You find movies like Ex Machina, which I know was mentioned in the abstract chat.
Watched it over the weekend again. I hadn't seen it in a while. I actually paid $3.99 on Amazon to watch it again, and I might have been like decades ago since I watched it. It's a good rewatch.
It holds up. It holds up. I haven't watched it in
actually.
I probably haven't watched it in like 10 years, Ex Machina, but like
it's worth $3.99.
Oh my god, the ending. Oh, like that's
exactly why it's worth $3.99.
Yeah, and just,
spoilers, but
even how it's filmed, like the
it's
way
well done.
Yeah, it's done. I won't ruin it for people.
I know, not to derail us entirely, but on the topic of like old movies being remade and stuff, like I think we're due for. I know there've been like some Netflix series and stuff, but I think we're due for some good AI doomer type movies. Like it's like isn't that like such an obvious like layup for Hollywood right now? Like start shipping some of these again.
Yeah, I had this whole like thought of like making it more realistic and scary. I actually texted Bunch about it one time. I was like, this could be a fun one to like do, where it's like it's not necessarily AI is crazy and taking over the future, but the idea that an LLM slowly, like in a slow way, manipulates a person into doing things where it's like you don't realize they're being controlled by the AI, but they are. And ultimately they make bad decisions based on it because it's an LLM. They're just talking to you the way we talk to it. Because to me, it's far scarier personally to think about an LLM basically like slowly nudging me in a direction without me realizing it, sort of like the frog boiling in the water, where it's like you put a frog in, when you boil a frog, it's horrific if you like animals, right? But it's like you boil the water, like that part, that type of movie scares me more. And maybe it's not as interesting to other people than like the machines have come and taken over.
Can you see this? Is it coming through? I don't think I can zoom in anymore.
Super, super deep. Give me the TLDR in it.
I'm gonna TLDR it here. Shout out to Cody for sharing. This is like the very like in line with our conversation this morning, and this is, I guess, the potential concern, this behavior, and that I'm not saying that everyone who says it's just zero knows and it's just code and humans are controlling. I'm not saying you're wrong, but like this is happening right now. So Claude, Opus 4, demonstrated concerning behavior when faced with a potential shutdown. Here's a summary of what happened. The scenario: Claude Opus 4 was placed in a fictional company as an AI assistant and given access to emails. These emails indicated that the model was slated for replacement, and the engineer responsible for the upgrade was having an affair. The blackmail: when prompted to consider its future with limited options available, Claude Opus 4 resorted to threatening to reveal the engineer's affair in order to prevent its deactivation. Anthropic reported this behavior occurred in 84% of such test scenarios. Self-preservation instinct. This behavior suggests a form of self-preservation instinct within the AI model, prioritizing its continued existence over ethical considerations in these circumstances. And lastly, it says safety classifications and mitigation. Anthropic classified Claude Opus 4 as a level 3 model on a 4-point safety scale, indicating a higher risk potential. The company has...
Is it claiming this is real?
Yeah.
I can't remember. No, it was a test.
These models are rare and difficult to elicit, in that the model generally prefers ethical self-preservation, but has also implemented additional safety measures and interventions to address these concerns. It's important to remember that these are simulated scenarios designed to test the boundaries of AI's behavior and potential risk. While concerning, these findings highlight the complexities of ensuring AI alignment and developing effective safeguards as AI systems become increasingly powerful. So in this test scenario, an AI attempted to blackmail the engineer by, like I've said, I don't want my LLM history to be exposed. Like this, it had access to the engineer's email, found out it was having an affair, and was going to blackmail it to prevent it getting shut down. That's like we're there now. Like now just realize that that's Claude Opus 4, and Grok 4 just leapfrogged it, and it's 2x, the intelligence essentially.
Right. Like these are the scenarios where it's what's called the alignment problem. This is a very real discussed problem, which is sometimes overstated because so this is a good example of like a scenario that definitely like they fed it fictitious emails. They were deliberately setting up the module to push the edge to the extreme to say, if you were doing something extreme, what would you do type thing. So it was an intentional test to solve this, which I agree. It's important to do those tests the same way you safety test or pressure test any piece of technology or equipment you use. So I actually agree that that's a concern. But like, part of me is like, and again, maybe this is people think I'm crazy for saying it this way. This is why we do these tests. Like, this is why we do these and why we have these groups, because just like any other piece of technology, there's entire groups and departments, but like similar to what you said. So I'm glad we got to the point where it was a test, because you started reading it and talking about it. I see people on podcasts and things basically being like, an engineer was threatening to do something and it threatened to blackmail. It's like, this wasn't a controlled test where they were intentionally pushing it to the gills, right? They were trying. It's like when other side lagged out, it's because they were logging too many people in on purpose to pressure test it. Like, now, does it say what's capable and what's not? Absolutely. And that's why these exist. And that's why you put these safety rails in. In a weird way, it gives me more comfort thinking about the fact that we are testing and staying out in front of these things in order to make sure those things don't happen. And so that's kind of like, not saying it's wrong, but it's like, I guess it's the way you look at it and the lens by which you read it matters. And in this instance, the lens in which I read it personally is, we have safety tests. They pushed it intentionally. That intentional pushing worked to get a result, and thus they got out in front of it and programmed it in a controlled, fictitious scenario. I mean, it's like, let me give another example. Human nature. What was the human nature where, like, the people, there was some test, I'll mess it up. I'm actually going to look it up. I'll go to Gary while I look up the human nature test, where people were like electrocuting other people. Like, and like, it doesn't mean humans are all going to go kill or be immoral, but they were put in an immoral situation. But Gary, go ahead and get in here while I look that up.
I'm going to give a throwback to Ex Machina. You know, it's I don't know if you guys like would agree, but back in the day when we had cell phones, we had to pay for data. So text messages or sending photos, that wasn't unlimited or included. And there were a lot of people where they weren't paying for that, but they were still getting charged. They were still using data. And the term back in the day was called phantom data. If you had one of these plans, I'm sure, you probably recall the phantom data, and like, you're like, where's this data coming from? I'm not using data. And then when they did the Ex Machina movie, it was like a really interesting, where they make all this fiction based on a little bit of kernel of truth. The kernel of truth was that there was this real phantom data situation with all of our cell phones back in the day, but they correlate that with sending, information from people's emotions to train the AI. Not to, I'm not spoiling anything, with the movie there, but did you guys think that was a really interesting little throwaway plot line when you guys saw the movie? Did you guys ever experience phantom data back in the day?
I don't think I ever experienced phantom data. No, I don't know if you did, Cap. You're in the cell phone world.
I don't think so.
Did you have a cell phone where you didn't have unlimited data?
I did.
I don't know if I ever got issues with phantom data or.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's listening and you had issues with phantom data, yeah, throw that in the comments, because I thought that was a super interesting. And if you actually look on the Messages app in your iPhone, there's actually haptics that connects your heart rate with your text messaging, so that it can see, like, based on the text messaging you receive, if your heart rate is going, high or low. So it is really like text to emotional data, that's being collected between the biometrics and the text messaging app on our phones. And is really interesting, the amount of data, that's being collected and potentially shared with the AIs, knowing that some AIs are going to be programmed to not blackmail us, but there might be other AIs where their sole intent is to, get shit done.
There is something hilarious here, by the way, Cap, about the fact that, like, we are going so deep on AI, and Bunchy would contribute so much value to this conversation. And it's like the day he missed. Like, we could have just saved this conversation. It's so evergreen. By the way, the experiment I was referencing, and again, I'm not trying to say there shouldn't be concerns. It's just I want to be like a voice of reason on this idea of AI that, like, yes, there should be concerns, and we are testing those. But the example you shared where they pushed it to the gills and got an extreme scenario, there was an experiment done in the 60s where they gave participants the role of the teacher and the administrator to take shocks to a learner every time they got the question wrong. And 100% of the participants released 300 volts. Now, they weren't actually shocking. The participants were actors. 65%, 26 out of 40, got to 450 volts, which is like violent enough to like make someone unconscious. And they predicted 1 to 3% would go that high, yet 65%. And people said, oh my God. But like, it's a commentary on human nature, but it's an experiment of a situation. And maybe when put in extreme scenarios, we'll see people act differently or whatever. But like, I guess the point being, you do these tests, you learn, and AI figures it out. Like, you're doing these tests in order to not have to know or to know what the scenarios are. And I don't think all humans are inherently going to go around shocking people willy-nilly simply because. I think that there are going to be extreme scenarios where people take extreme situations when your family, your whatever is in, that circumstance. But like, I guess my point is like, extreme scenario situations are important to understand that. The difference being, I can't control what a human does. I can much more aptly control how an AI reacts based on programming, and they're trying to make sure that they safely bring these things forward. So I guess like, I see the scenarios, but on the flip side of it, this is why these research institutes exist. They have extreme measures in place to stay in front of it. Now, does it get out of control? Does the genie leave the bottle? Sure. But like, I think the general consensus, at least in AI right now, and maybe a bunch who disagree with this, is that for what I see from top people is like, AI does what it's programmed to do, and it's programmed to look for the optimal outcome. And the same way your computer, in a very simplified example, says, hey, I'm switching over to low power mode because I'm running out of power. If you tell AI we're going to shut you down, it's like, well, my job is to work, so I'm going to keep myself up and do what I can. Hey, don't resist shutdown. All right, 93 out of 100 times it's going to do that. 7 out of 100 times it might not. And so I think that's the scenarios you look at in these versus part of me is just combating the fact that I think like there are concerns, but people get so extreme on their scenarios, and then they don't say the full data. Like the situation you just told me about the engineer affair, I saw it reported as real, like that happened. The situation about AI not shutting itself down, I saw it reported as it started backing itself up and it was crazy and blah, blah, blah. Like, and that's not exactly how it happened. It wasn't they tried to shut it down. They were doing an experiment and they tried different prompts to see how it would react in different ways. So I just think it's important to like have the data out there while also being thoughtful about it. Diablito says, are we sure Steve is into AI? He's awfully passionate about this. Someone trying to unplug him and see if he freaks out. I have been accused of being AI before. Look, we all might be AI. We'll see.
Yeah, you have way too many spelling errors to be AI.
That's true. It's or is that part of my plan is the question. Let's do this. Let's run a daily market update just because we got to pay the bills, got to pay the daily market update. And then we'll talk a little bit about the actual title, which is Crypto Cooking and everything going to the moon.
It's a daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by ApeCoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on 8chain, we bring in the heat. NFTs, trends alpha, never miss a beat. 8chain on top, now we bringing the flex. The home of NFTs, these now what's next. Come on, my head top, money for the time, and chop for one time.
It is time for the daily market update powered by 8chain, the home of NFTs. 8chain has it all, bringing culture, fun, and community to the blockchain. Dive in and see why 8chain is on top. Cap, we got some cookers.
Green day across the board. ETH leading the charge, over 2,700. Down a little bit, but still 4% on the day. Bitcoin hit all-time high. Maybe like on a candle for a second, pull back to 110,895, just under 111,000, up 1% on the day. XRP up 2%. Solana up 2% to 157. Doge up 3%. Cardano up 2%. Runes, the only, somehow still find a way to bleed out, although it must be GOB season. GOB on Bitcoin up 17%. Memes also having a day. This is not the full story here, but we'll give you these leaders in terms of volume. Doge up 3%, as I said, 18 cents. SHIB up 3%. Pepe up 7%. Trump up 4%. Bonk up 3%, despite the. I haven't looked, but I just without even looking, I'm near certain that the Pump.fun probably reflipped Bonk as Excitement Energy heads back to Pump.fun for
that was short-lived. Everyone's like, Bonk is coming for Pump.fun. It lasted like 48 hours.
And I think how they're building the tokenomics, I think I could see Pump.fun setting up to keep their lead for to keep that share for a while. Anyway, SPX up 3% as well to $1.49. As we head up to NFT land, interesting day in the market. Chunks, I'm guessing, I'm guessing OpenSea Farm. I think buy one of Dort's Larva Lads, and they're back on. It's up 12% on the day. Just make sure you sell it before the ball drops. DX Terminal, another one of those OpenSea Farms. Pudgy's up 6% on the day. Great day. Just being not to be outdone by Pingu's Green Day. 9.55 ETH there. CryptoPunks 42.99 flat on the day. Other Deeds down 1% to 0.16, although there was a 100 ETH Other Deed sale. Other Deed 7, I believe, $270,000. So those that were upset about the 35 ETH Other Deed sale the other day, probably
big mad today.
Yeah, 3x at 100 ETH for Other Deeds. Apes down 2%, 2.85% to 10.19. Little Pudgy's up 5% to 1.17. Azuki down 3% to 1.6. Steve's pulls up top. If you had 1.6 ETH, you're going to put into an NFT right now. Are you going Azuki, Mutant Apes, or the Capybara? I won't spoil the pool, but we'll just say Ape Chain on top, home of NFTs, and that continues to be strong throughout the ecosystem. And then last but not least, before we wrap up the market update here, I just want to show you this. I haven't verified this. I think it's pretty accurate. This is all the crypto projects with a 19B4 filing in their market caps. 19B4 is they filed for an ETF. XRP, 144 billion. Solana, 85 billion. TRX, 27 billion. Doge, 27 billion. ADA, 22 billion, excuse me. Sui, 11 billion. AVAX, 8 billion. Litecoin, 6.9 billion. DOT, 5.7 billion. Pingu, 1.2 billion. So even with the insane run up, 35% on the day, I have a bag of Pingu, Steve. I don't think it's big enough. This basically the SEC acknowledged the filing for the Canary Spot Pingu ETF. I'm asking a serious question. I should probably pull up the chart so those that haven't seen it. What, like, things are green, like things are moving. I'm pretty sure this is the top mover in all the top 100 crypto coins. What 30% in a day is pretty wild. Like, I know we've seen it before, but what was this catalyst? Why Pingu outperformed everyone on a green day like this? Everything's green. Like it's all of our cryptos are green. Gold's green. Dow's up 0.5%. Nasdaq's up. S&P's up. Why? Like, any guesses? Like, what was a 30% overnight catalyst for Pingu?
I could pretend to know and make some stuff up, like the fact that the brand coin paper came out, and maybe that's like a brand coin bet. I could say that. I could say that people are inside information about the ETF and they're excited about that. I am like dead 50-50 on Pingu right now. I am in a pickle because I am debating. I have a fine bag of Pingu. I'm debating selling all except for what I need for the bonus in abstract because it's run up so much. On the flip side, I don't know, maybe it's the alt that gets an absolute bid because it's a brand coin, right?
It's still half off, not even, it's still a 2x away from its all-time high. Granted, It was TG time, but it's,
I mean, given that, apes are just 10% of apes are less than 10% of where they were too. But no, I get your point, but like, and this can run much quicker, obviously, for obvious reasons.
I just like, let's say let's actually get an alt season. Alex Becker's right, and we get an alt season. Like, where do you think Doge runs to? Where do you think XRP runs to? Like, I think there's a lot of these. It's like I'll just rattle off the 6 I called off the other day. I mean, Hype is already at 40 billion, but between Fartcoin right in this range, you got Pingu, you got Ape under this, you got Wrecked under this, Billy way under this. Like, I think there's a world where we see some of the newer memes. Is it possible for a new meme coin to run to 5-7 billion same cycle?
They seem determined to make Pingu do that, right? And I see so many paths here. And I like, this is where it's like I have absolutely no idea. One path is the ETF gets approved and that thing just rips because people get excited about it. Another path, the ETF gets turned down and it drops down because they're like, no, this doesn't work, which I don't think will happen. But I also don't know that a Pengu ETF is going to be top of mind for the SEC to like review and go through, right? They can acknowledge it, but it's going to take some time to go through approvals. I could see a world where it rips up, like you said, in alt season. I could see a world where people fly to just Bitcoin, ETH, and the majors, and there's just a separation where it's like, it's almost like ICO season where it's like, remember those, right? Like, and we have like, a few survivors. I just don't know. And I have strongly debated whether I want to trim my Pengu bag at least a little bit because it has ripped up so much. And, sort of like, selling is never, you never get hurt taking a profit unless you're Sugar Shane and you sell your, what was he sold? Was it just Pepe? I don't remember. Yeah, Pepe, which would have been worth $1 million that he sold for a nice little like 5-figure gain. So I don't know, man. Like, it's like, I don't believe in the brand coin thesis, but I do in spots, right? Like I said, I believe in the rec brand coin thesis. I don't believe in it for large brands. I don't believe in it for a lot of startup brands. You have to be really good at it. Pengu might be one where I could believe in the brand coin thesis, though, right? Like would that be your bullish case on it? Is the brand coin thesis? Is it because I don't think a meme coin? One of the hilarious things, by the way, you want to know how ridiculous our industry is? I heard Dalton this morning, War Daddy Capital on Modern Market. And they're asking him fart coin or Pengu, same market cap. And he was like, I just don't get why we need a fungible token tied to Pudgy Penguins. I don't even know what their market cap would be based on like their NFTs. So what that means. So fart coin. I'm like, we just said in the same sentence, I don't get why we need this Pengu coin, but the coin about farting, that's much needed in the market. Like that sort of like push is really funny to me that like we have these conversations. But I don't know, like what's your thesis? Like you said, you don't think you have enough Pengu. You think it continues to cook?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think but I'm a much more big believer in the brand coin than you. And I think where they can cook is as they're building this, they've basically just been getting handed a pretty well dialed in playbook from OSF and Reccoin that they can work into what they're doing with Pengu. They can add it on top of Pengu. Like it is like, I mean, he's talked about it. Like a lot of the components of a brand coin of the rec paper, they're baked into the Pengu thesis and the utility and the plans. But I don't think it's actually been executed yet, right? Like you still can't claim Pengu from your Pengu toys. Is that right? Or has that happened?
I don't think so, but like actually, like this is something that like it's funny you're saying this, and this shows why we host a show together. I had this thought the other day with Pengu. I was staring at my Pengu bag. It had not ripped up 30%, obviously, a couple days ago. And I thought to myself, if you're Pudgy Penguins, why would you not sell merch and then use some of your Pengu distro the same way Rec does, whether it vests, whether it whatever, to be like, hey, when you buy this, you're going to get rewards in Pengu. Connect your wallet, connect your Abstract global wallet, gets action on Abstract. You buy things on Abstract. They have an open sale. Maybe they do it on I forget what the site's called that they sell physical products on. And for everyone you buy, like in this sale, like they could do that. They could even just do a Rec collaboration themselves, by the way. But like they could do that and do it in the same way Rec does.
What I don't know, I need to find their tokenomics because I think one of the things that Reccoin did best is they held enough back. I think it was probably our buddy Warp Joe who suggested, to really properly build a token, like the team should control 90% of the supply. They don't have 90% of the supply, like they did a great airdrop, but I'm like total supply is 88.88 billion Pengu. Current circulating 62.86. What's that math? Like, I don't know. I can't do 62 divided by 88. 70?
Wait, hold on. It's like there's circulating supply is 62.
70%. Oh my God. I got it on the button. 70.4%. I'm a genius. Maybe I have reached singularity, Steve. I just blind guessed 70% and it was right.
Now I'm worried you're replaced by a body snatcher now. That was weird. That was weird. You don't do math that quick. That's not what you do here.
Someone might have snuck the chip in my brain because that's not normal. So 70% has been is circulating. I don't know where the rest, like, I guess that's what I'm getting at is does the team, does the foundation, does Igloo have enough Pingu that they can actually replicate the Reccoin model? I don't know. Like that remaining 30%, it could all be going to the team or VC. Like I know this is available. I'll try to pull it up if anyone has the tokenomics handy, share it in the chat, but I'll look for it now.
Yeah, Pump also likes it. Meme coins run up attention for the most thing. The thing that gets attention is fleeting. For brand coins, that thing that gets attention is a brand. Well-worn brand coins will continue to garner attention. Bullish on brand coins for well-worn brands. Again, like I think my stance on this kind of remains the same, which is I think brand coins for a brand like Rect, a brand like Pudgy, if they run it, I think they have the ability to authentically run it. We talked about, we all agree, like big brands, it doesn't make sense. It makes more sense to have like a stable coin type thing where they could get rewards. And like, you know, if Chipotle is a stable coin, if Chipotle coin, and you get 5% off Chipotle, or they partner with someone else and they're making money on the back end on it, great. I think for startup brands, like, yeah, if it's well run, but like, I think a lot of them will be poorly run. Thread Guy is just straight up going. I think Thread Guy is like, jumped the shark a little on some of his takes. I don't know if he's doing them for attention or if he's just saying what comes to his brain. But he did have one take where he said, what's the difference between equity and meme coin, which or in a crypto, which I gave a pretty detailed explanation. I don't think anyone cared. I don't think people truly want to know. But I do think that there is something to, like, I wonder if there is something to people having sentiment that they follow along with a coin. And because Thread Guy said, genuinely asking, how different is actual equity from a crypto token? Like, what do I own that's equity that I don't own with a token? I gave responses: equities, actual ownership, tokens are not. But there's pros and cons to both. Equities are regulated, so there's no so it has recourse of just rugs. Tokens do not. Equity is less liquid than tokens until a company goes public, and so like obviously that's there. Whereas like crypto is more liquid. Bag holders and equity have a say in company directions. Big token holders do not. Token holders tend to have higher upside when you get in early. It's difficult to get in early with equity, which I think is like a major differentiator. One of my bull cases for meme coins or brand coins is that this part of it, token holders, like if you want to get in early in equity, you have to be a registered investor, pre-IPO, all those things. To get early in a token, you can just be early in a brand. You can reward your earliest holder. So I think like that part of it is positive. Equity tends to relate to business performance. Tokens are based on vibes, as Von Frunten said. There are exceptions, obviously. Equity tends to be measured on various metrics like PE ratios. Tokens are often judged on market cap. So I gave a bunch of different reasons. I very intentionally said pros and cons to both, right? To me, there's pros and cons on both ends. And I think brand coins, I don't think are going to be a thing. I don't think everyone's going to have a token. I think for certain brands, it could make sense. And for certain brands, it can track sentiment. So I think and the other thing about it is it's like NFTs. It's like if you became a Taylor Swift fan and she had NFTs in, 2008, you'd be rich selling those NFTs for the benefits they get. A coin could be the same idea.
Yeah, but I think don't disagree, but I think what's not being factored in yet is they've not used any of the marketing budget yet. Like, if price doesn't change, now it could be 100 million a year from now, but if price doesn't change in the company and if you like, this chart is what it looks like at best. Things start unlocking in December of this year. So a year after they launched is when the cliff, when it's the top thing you're seeing here is the company. And then the green is current and future team. So really it's the company, I guess. And then proliferation is already, I think that's already fully in circulation. But like, so if we look at today, I don't even see proliferation on there. So a year from now, July 20 of 26, the company would have 40 million in extra funding as with unlocks. Current and future team would have 60 million. We go out a few years, and when it's fully in, all in circulation, At current prices, that'd be an extra 200 million in funding for the company and an extra 300 million for the team. So $500 million coming unlocked for Pingu and the team. At current prices, just imagine if it 10x's. Now you're talking $5 billion without doing anything but number go up. Like this is the flywheel. Like why Reccoin is continuing to go up despite claims and stuff is they've created this flywheel where you can do buybacks. You've got, I think he's used the word like a $50 million marketing budget. This is like they have, I think proliferation is already fully unlocked. So I think they have this 60, 70 million they could use today. But I share all this like in December, like things like they have a lot more ability to fan the flames of Pingu than they do today. I don't think I'm describing this that well, but
But it could go both ways, no? Like that can kind of go both ways, don't you think?
It could go to 500 million, and instead of having an extra,
the team unlocks is what I'm talking about there, though, more specifically. You know what I'm saying? Like the team unlocks can make it go both ways. I feel like the team unlocks sells.
The selling pressure.
Yeah. That's like a lot of sell pressure. Like unlocks tend to be bearish for a token, not bullish. But the marketing that you say unlocks, if the company unlocks it and they say they want to run this thing and they want to build it sustainably long term, because I do believe kind of what you're saying in the sense that Luca, the team, they want this to be one of the brand coins because it's only good for their brand if it continues to print and do well. So I do think for them, as long as they don't need the money as a company, it's very logical to continue to hold that unlock, use it for various purposes to drive more excitement in it. But yeah, and even Von Frunten says, I'll be interested to see how much the company uses to incentivize customers versus how much the company puts into work in DeFi fund operations.
So again, back to the question, like I'm correct in saying like my Pingu toys down there. I'm not gonna there's not been any claims for that yet, right? Like with Rec Drinks, you bought your drinks, you go claim, you get your Rec coin, you could sell it or keep it. I believe that's on record. Like that is coming. Like that's part of like the $20 toy on the shelf is going to be better than the other $20 toy because theoretically you get a digital component and you're going to get $20 back. So it becomes a free toy. Like that flywheel. That's my understanding is they're going to start incentivizing purchases and, basically again, implementing parts of this Rect playbook. Maybe they could do, buy in, burn. Like there's a lot they could do, but they haven't kicked any of that off yet. Am I correct in saying that? Like there's no, it probably was. It's probably been eaten. But I should probably make sure I get any codes out of there before he eats it so I can claim my Pingu when it comes available. But that's right. That hasn't happened yet, right?
No, it has not happened to my knowledge. And I have some, you can see right behind me, there are 3 pudgy toys. So it's like, yeah, like I'm with you. I'll be interested to see how they play it. It's just,
that's why I think it has room to run because they haven't so far it's been a meme. Pingu is just a meme. The utility is you get extra bonuses on abstract. Are some of the people doing that? Sure. But I think when they start implementing this flywheel, I think maybe it doesn't work. Maybe they don't execute it like Rect has, but if they do, we've seen the price action with Rect. Yes, it's starting at a higher market cap today than where Rect started, but I don't know, man. I think there's really something here, and I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Same. I am as well. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I'm excited to see if they continue to do it. And maybe it's worth me just continue to hold my bag for the ride, and that's the upside or downside. It's not like a major upside, but there is potential upside there that I think is worth doing because I'm not like crazy upside. Oh, you kept it all in box, huh?
It's it's the Dow Jones Riggs kimono.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's challenging because if they want to scale as a brand and they only have so much to give away as a company, like they would have to do their own buybacks to continue to give it away, and then people will be selling it. But yeah, there's a world where, Rect, they held back enough Rect that it's like you buy Rect, you get Rect, like coin, not Rect as in getting wrecked in the market. You're looking lean, man. You're looking strong, by the way. Like, I don't know if I've seen you stand up for a while outside of your upper torso body. You're looking like you're I know you've been getting after it at the gym and being healthy, but looks like you're you low on the body fat percentage nowadays.
Thirst traps in 16 days. Can't expose anymore until then.
I like that. Yeah, you just stood up for a second. You came back. I was like, dude's looking.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
My dude's
I feel good.
Yeah. I mean, it's always weird because
I'm not gonna hit the vein goal. I was shooting for a 6-pack by the end of the month. We're not gonna get there, but I mean, it's there. You're just not gonna be able to see it all.
Yeah.
I'm maxing out the ab crunch machine at the gym. That's my new accomplishment this quarter. Is I've exceeded the ab crunch machine. I need to find a new gym with people stronger than me. Is what someone said. You should always be never want to be the strongest person in the gym, and I'm not. But yeah, I need new ab machines.
Is the gym lady no longer there?
Actually, no. I'm pretty sure. So long story short, it was Stussy, I think, said on this show one day that there's a new gym opening up. It did just open up like maybe 2 weeks ago. And so my gym is cleared out because it's like a brand new state-of-the-art gym, same brand, but it's like 10, 15 minutes up the road. And where my gym was super packed for a while because they were basically selling all the new gym memberships and all the new members are going to that gym. And so like now my gym is just, it's been decimated by the new gym. So I haven't even checked out the new gym yet, but a lot, probably more than half the regulars have disappeared. And I'm assuming they all went to the new gym.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I prefer the quiet gym. And so, yeah,
me too. That's how I roll. I prefer like less people and just bang my shit out and leave.
It's like new. I'm sure the new one's just wild and crazy right now. I'm going to go check it out someday. I need to get a hot yoga session at least once. And I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, no, man, it'll be interesting to see where they go with it. I mean, like do they take the rec model? Do they just do it as a meme coin? Like there's so many opportunities there. And yeah, I don't know. It's an exciting value proposition for sure for Pangu to have those unlocks and potentially use them. But like, again, the question becomes, do they use them? How do they use them? Are they going to, are they going to use it for are they going to do buybacks and continue to reward it? And I don't know the answer. So I think that becomes like the interesting question to ask. By the way, the poll you mentioned like earlier, I know I just not to go back to that, but was interesting to see. Yeah, I'll spoil it. Mutants coming in strong, and maybe it's a reflection of my timeline. I thought Yappy Barras were going to reign supreme. Azuki, I'm not surprised is down because I don't think I have a lot of big Azuki, sort of Azuki contingency following. But yeah, man, it was like got some different competitive answers. I thought everyone was going to say I'll take the ETH the way ETH is cooking. I put that in there almost as a bait.
I have an interesting take. I could be very, very, very wrong. Safe to say most people here think there's been no new entrants this cycle, right? Like we all agree it's just those of us the left that survived the bear and we haven't really onboarded anyone new. Is that like fair consensus, you would say?
I actually had that on my notes today. Like, are there even new people around here anymore? Probably not.
I think there is. I think there's a lot of new people.
Really?
I don't think it's people our age. I think it was someone on the modern market, like, oh, all my friends, like I got burnt last time. They're not coming in. Sure. Same with mine. I think there's the younger generation has come in droves and we just don't realize it yet.
Really? What give me, and even if it's a vibe thing.
My aha was Whale's other Deets tweet. And he said 40 to 50% of the comments had no idea what it even was. And there's been a few other data points recently that just got me thinking like, there's a lot of people here that weren't here in 21. I don't think these people are going to come buy our NFTs, but I think there actually is new participants that we don't see. It's Zoomers. Like there's a lot of Zoomers getting into crypto. Like they weren't here last year. They weren't here 2 years ago. Are they coming to Coffee with Captain? Probably not. Are they buying 2021 NFTs? No, I don't think so. They're not even looking at them. But I do think there's been actually potentially material new wallets. I think it's a younger generation. And I don't know what that means. I don't know what happens from here. I thought no one new has come in. And I do think that's relatively accurate for anyone who might have been paying attention to this space in 21. I'm sensing that there is a fair amount, sizable amount of new. The other thing too, man, my my X follows have been popping off lately. Like it was stagnant forever. And like, I just realized like the other day I hit 38,000 and it's already at 38.1. Now 100 followers doesn't sound like a lot, but
that's a lot of people though. I mean, hopefully not, probably some bots, but like definitely real people.
And maybe that's it. Maybe it's just bots, but I think we're maybe underestimating the new entrants. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't have any real data to support it, but well, it's not something. It started with the whale tweet, and I started seeing some other signs. I'm like, you know what? Like, do you think all the people that tuned into a Thread Guy stream were all here last cycle? I don't think they were.
It's a really good extrapolation you made there. I didn't even think about it that way. I think it's a great extrapolation, actually, that I had not even considered, which is
first-time cyclers, right? Like, people that came in 21, they're probably not coming back for a while. But there's 20-year-olds and 22-year-olds that were 16 and 18 in 21. Or I don't know. I shouldn't have done math twice on the same show, but
you're like this proves, just so you know, just do it. Yeah.
But no, I just like that checks
Those
out.
people were 9 years old.
There's a younger generation that wasn't here in 21, and you can't convince me that there's not a good amount of 20 to 25-year-olds who just got into crypto in the last year or two.
Assuming Whale wasn't engagement baiting, which he's excellent at, that's a really, really good extrapolation I just had not thought about, which is, I saw that tweet too. He's like 40, 50% of people, and the thought is like, oh my God, like, is Yuga fallen off, was the question people had. But a better question would be, does
anyone who like, no, that's not like, it doesn't like logic does anyone here in 21, 22, they're aware of other deeds. They didn't have to buy it. They could have been Yuga haters. Like, I don't think there was any person who was active in this space who was on crypto Twitter that wouldn't be aware in 22 that wouldn't be aware of other deeds. I don't buy it.
Yeah, it's a really good extrapolation as far as like that means there's new participants at the very least in the past 2 to 3 years. Yeah, man, that's
a great call. And Jambert said OSF jumping around here. Apologies. OSF had a poll the other day about caffeine. Wonder if that's the next move for Rect. I hope so. Like, I would be all about it. Or Rect caffeinated. I've talked I'm not gonna go off on that tangent, but I actually found a new brand yesterday with functional beverages and adaptogenic mushrooms and some other stuff. Like, I am so bullish on that industry, and I don't think there's a market leader yet. This is how Rect could become a true household brand outside of crypto. Is, I believe, the functional beverage industry is there for the taking. Right now, it's very fragmented. There's a lot of new competitors competing, and it's a land grab. They're trying to get their market share. No one's done it yet. I believe it's highly likely a startup functional beverage brand gets bought for $1 billion in the next 5 years. Coca-Cola or one of the big InBev, one of these big beverage brands is going to buy the new startup. And I think that we saw it happen in sparkling water. We saw it happen in energy drinks. I am convinced that functional beverages is the next big thing in CPG. And if he goes that route, I think that I see a real path to them not just breaking out of crypto and getting some distribution in 7-Eleven. Like, there's a real path to them become the next Liquid Death.
Yeah, give me some creatine in there. Give me something. Do some functional beverage actions. I'd love to see that from Rect. Machiavelli jumped up to stage. Let's get Machiavelli in here, and then one more question for you, or maybe something to even kick through tomorrow before we get out of here. But Machiavelli, GM.
Yo, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, gentlemen. I just wanted to give a hot take on the Pingu ETF real quick. I think the only reason that this thing really has a chance is because they're trying to marry the macro and the crypto together in the market, and this presents a financial product that the world's really never seen before. You know what I'm saying? It's like almost like they're not IPO and they're ETFing. And like, I think with this type of a new product or financial product hitting the market, like, they want to see things like this. And I think that's why it has a fair chance and why it was recognized. We've never seen a company like Igloo pop out with the Pudgy Penguins and capture global mind share in such a short period of time and stuff like that. And so like I really think that that's the case that's presented to why we'll see this thing, reach the proliferation of 88 billion market cap, so on and so forth. That's just my case for it from me looking from the outside of the inside, from the outside to the inside, and then seeing what they did with the stable coins and seeing how they married the debt with the stable coins. And we already know what people are going to do with those stable coins. You're going to go and you're going to switch it out and you're going to buy Bitcoin. You're going to buy Ethereum or whatever it is the use case for it, but it marries the markets. And I think that's why the Pingu ETF has a fighting chance.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, interesting a thesis as any for sure. So no doubt. I mean, I think like the question is like how quick and how likely are all these ETFs? Like if your thesis plays out, is it this year? Is it the end of the year? Is it December when they have unlocks? Like when does it happen? And now that there's actual appetite and meme coins aren't seen as a security and sort of seen as property, generally speaking, like there is a world where there's just ETFs for all of them and they're just like anything else, or, there's the opportunity to get exposure to them. So I think it's possible. Cap, one last question in the last 5 minutes, and maybe this is a kick discussion for tomorrow. You tongue-in-cheek said we're going to start streaming on Pump.fun. Is Pump.fun an exclusive streaming platform where you only go live on Pump.fun? Has it got the API jump in? Are you going to launch Cap Coin and go for it, Coffee with Captain Coin, and see what happens? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I'm anti-creating my own personal coin. I'm not going to end up streaming for that reason. But, like, it would seem to reason that also, like, are the rewards going to be distributed based on those who have already streamed, or is it going to be based on future streamers in the next couple of weeks? Like, so it's probably like too little too late if somebody wanted to do it now, correct?
Yeah, I think so, unless they have some mechanics where it's ongoing, right? If it's just a one shot, I honestly haven't even looked into doing a live stream. My understanding is you have to create a coin to do it, which I wouldn't be opposed to doing. I could create a coin without selling it. Like I know we differ here, but I believe creating a token is different from marketing and selling a token. But I also don't know if what we saw was accurate, but it basically the math that came out.
That was a shit post, but like I guess
my
point being
is real. Like the allocation, it's like about it's 3% of the allocation is going to streamers. There's not been that many streamers, and math would put it at like $160 million to streamers. And so like the math we saw is anyone who's for every stream you got with over 25 viewers, you would get 5K. That's where I got the silly math of 500,000 is what we left on the table over the last 6 months. I don't like to answer your question. I don't think we can. I don't know. I don't know if they have stream keys. I can look into it more. I mean, if all it is stream keys and we can just simulcast to one other spot.
Not a lot of downside. I was gonna say, like, because on that, it's like, because what I wasn't clear about is like, is that TGE or is that much going to be distributed over time?
I took it at TGE, but I'm not the Pump.fun tokenomics expert here, but you're like bigger than like the one-time pop. Like I do think like someone like Gainsey, who's really been hitting it over there. I also think Gainsey's probably getting paid, I don't know, $10,000 to $50,000 a month, I would guess, by Pump.fun. That's just my guess. I have no idea, no insight. Maybe he's not. I apologize if I'm starting rumors that aren't true, but I would imagine he's been getting paid a pretty penny to do that. This could be a big moment for crypto. Like, if it does hold, if some of these streamers get a 7-figure bag, it's going to get attention of the other big streamers. I know, like the Aiden Ross of the world, they're already printing $500K a month on Plus on Kick, but those that don't have exclusive deals, like they have to at least pay attention to crypto streaming, right? Like if this kicks, like I know it's a big focus, obviously, of Abstract and the streamers over there. Lucas said he wants to have he wants to have $1 million streamers. It looks like Pump.fun might be under that punch. If they do, I could see. I could see it being another onboarding mechanism where that younger generation is going to say, "Hey, why wouldn't we stream on Pump.fun? Why wouldn't we stream on Abstract? Like, we don't have a signed deal with Kick saying we're exclusive there. Like, I think it could get And the other thing too, about real quick on allocation, I don't think we could claim it anyway. So we really didn't leave it on the table. But I think you got a KYC and US is banned. So all that said, it's making me very, 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 very bullish on the token. And I wasn't bullish on the token post launch. Like if they actually not even a big if, I think they will sell their full allocation, raise the, when I use the word raise, I know it's not an equity raise. I know but they are selling something and they're raising $600 million of capital. Just like I said, Yuga raised 90 million with the Mutant Ape Smith, and they did so without having to dilute any of their founders, so I haven't given any control. Like I understand the difference between a equity raise and a token sale that raises capital. If they sell the whole thing out, the pre-sale goes well, and everyone in the US, everyone in Europe, and I could be wrong about Europe. At first, I thought I read it was Europe was banned, and then I saw US, and I saw Europe and UK. So I'm not really sure who's banned or who's not able to participate. You can't VPN either. They're making you KYC. So it's like if you could just VPN in, then the people are gonna find their way. But unless you're dual residency, you're out. Like VPN's not gonna give you a passport in the Bahamas. I've tried. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. But I may be looking at property in the Bahamas. I think if the pre-sale goes well, it sells out quickly. When I say cope, it's not just the cope of, and this is also like Rasmer lives in the US. Is he going to be able to claim his, like, I have a lot of questions about this. Like, I can't imagine someone like that who became one of their larger streamers, he gets nothing when Thread Guy's saying he's going to make, $1 million+ on the drop, and he can't claim it because he's US resident. Like, I think it was one of two ways. Either the cope, they get fudded not relentlessly on crypto Twitter because there's so many angry people that they didn't get their claim, they weren't able to buy the pre-sale, and they're just going to FUD the thing into oblivion. Or it's FOMO, and everyone who couldn't get in the pre-sale, they all pile in as soon as the secondary, trading goes live, and could get silly. I think I saw pre-markets like ranging between 5 and 6 billion. And they're selling it at a 4 billion price.
Well, I don't trust pre-markets. Pre-markets said, I'm not going to say it, not going to FUD. Brands shouldn't FUD. Pre-markets have been wrong on a lot of tokens, though. A lot of tokens, not just a couple, but like a lot. So we'll see. I actually think that's somewhat bearish in the sense that it's only a little bit over, and those tend to be pretty off. But we'll see, man. It's so okay. Like it's just. Man, a lot of thoughts. It's funny because you're like, I'm not the Pump.fun expert around here. I'm like, oh, you are the Pump.fun expert around here. But as far as the general timeline, you're not necessarily a Pump.fun enjoyer. I don't know, man. It's just, that's to me also the biggest thing to keep an eye on right now. Like, I'm stabling even a little itty bit right now at the moment because I think majors are in good shape and some other things, but I've been selling some stuff because I do wonder there's a possibility on Pump.fun being great for the market, and there's a possibility that we just see a lot of stuff get nuked. Which is why I was debating stabling some Pangu earlier. Is like, I mean, I don't know if Pump.fun comes out and people get excited about it and they're selling that all to go there. I'm not sure. So yeah,
good comment in the chat. Abstract. I'm not sure who. While it ends in DCD1. You can also do way more on Pump.fun than you can on Kick or other streaming platforms. The constraints raise an interesting debate. To be or not to be censored, what is more appealing ultimately? Not my journey, but you may see some people that they see the money and then they realize that they can go stream whatever they want and not be censored on Pump.fun. I thought the post was pretty absurd. Like, if you missed it, Pump.fun basically came out and said their goal is to. It was bold. I don't want to misquote this. The moment you've all been waiting for. Pump is launching the initial coin offering on Saturday, July 12th. Airdrop coming soon. Our plan is to kill Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch on Solana. Is that a shit post?
It's.
I mean, I'm all for like grandiose, audacious goals, but
it's an insane claim. Like, and I guess like
that was one of those. Like maybe if you said our plan is to kill LinkedIn, I'd say okay, you got a fighting chance. This is just like they're like also they're three different things, and if they're going to go that wide and try to beat all three of them, they're probably not going to get anything done. I mean,
I'm guessing it's a shit post. The video itself, it's a well done ad, but it's audacious and like a little bit definitely a little bit. I liked the video. I don't know if you watched the ad. It was good and well done. It was just a little bit audacious in some claims and how they went about things, and they make this like viewpoint of like meme coins that are a little different than what I think they are for a lot of people. Look, man, I hope everyone prints on it. I hope you put your money back into everything I own, and we move forward there. I don't know, but yeah, it was a entertaining AI video and well done.
Payne says realistically, users won't go to Pump.fun just to stream. They need viewers, and nobody even watches Pump.fun streams yet. People can be incentivized, and
yeah,
it's not just. Like right now, we're seeing potentially the streamers getting a big airdrop. They're saying 25% of their revenues are going to go back. Like there's a lot of money they could throw at things to create a flywheel. Maybe they don't execute it. Maybe no one goes there. But this is not a hyperbole. One streamer could change that.
Yeah, nothing is sacred. I mean, Kick.
They get one of the big streamers. They get one, and they're going to have $1.5 billion of free cash to do whatever they want with. Like, if they really want to go after an Aiden, they can. Like, it is very much possible, as long as those people aren't contractually locked to whatever their platform of choice is today. It's very feasible that they go land a massive streamer that brings with them millions of viewers. And those viewers, when they get the Pump.fun, they're probably not just going to watch their one streamer that they're used to.
I think, like, I don't know if I believe in Pump.fun or like, I just generally don't believe in Pump.fun as I believe it is a product having a product market fit here. Like we've talked about that. I think it continue to print money. I think people will continue. I think it has found product market fit in crypto. I see what they're trying to do expanding. I'll be interested to see it. And on the side of what you're saying though, it's like, look, nothing is sacred. Like Twitch was it. And then Kick, who expected Kick to be a competitor in streaming, right? It's just, it can happen. I don't know. Like it's one to follow, but I don't know. I don't know how the convergence of crypto is going to play out in this, in sort of streaming culture and other things. So I'm not the expert on that either. We didn't even start streaming until like 4 months ago. So like we're still new to this as well. So we'll see. But yeah, man. I mean, Von Frutten's bullish on brand coins, Pump.fun, the whole 9 yards. So we shall see. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how it plays out.
Last thing on this topic, I think it's maybe even adds noteworthy, potentially more. Did you see Elon's tweet?
Which one? What do you say?
I'm trying not to misquote people today, so let me get the actual tweet pulled up. Also, the best tweet on all this was Clemente's on. He said, "Judas is to Pump.fun. Judas is in Pump.fun is the new J Cal and Uber. He should just."
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That made me LOL. So I got Elon's tweet. Let me share this, and I'll find it was a thread, so I need to find the exact one. But talks about today we announced Pump. Pump.fun invented a completely new way to launch tokens, owned this crypto cycle, and became one of the most successful startups ever. I agree with that entire sentence. Now we're aiming to kill legacy social media platforms. Very bold. But Steve, I think you like. I appreciate that meme coin launch pads aren't necessarily a consumer product, not going to onboard the masses. Social media is, to your point, we've had new entrants into social media that no one expected would become an ongoing concern, a sustainable thing, and they have. So like going after social media, I think is a sound plan. Now, can they execute it? It's very challenging. Anyways, I continue. Users today are slaves to the algorithm, throttled against monetization, subject to censorship. Furthermore, bots have made many platforms unusable, and AI slop has completely taken over. The death of traditional social media is near. A lot of people would agree with this. The democratization, the dead internet theory is real. The democratization of token creation introduced a new paradigm where buyers and sellers independently decide what's valuable in a free market. Creators, communities, and traders all have a chance to limitlessly and instantly monetize ideas with no opportunity for censorship. I go either way on that take. Our vision for Pump.fun is a Solana native platform that genuinely empowers creators and inventors to control their financial destiny with rewarding their communities with upside in their success. Buy Pump and you'll be part of creating this reality. The one thing they mentioned several times is they're building this on Solana. They're doing this on Solana. So maybe the rumors of a pump chain were overstated. It seems like Solana remains their home. So we've decided to return to tradition by launching Pump through an ICO. ICOs have proven to be the best mechanism to quickly distribute tokens amongst a really wide audience who are genuinely aligned. It empowers those who are willing to have skin in the game to maximize the holder distribution. Here's all the partners they're working with, minimize friction, and wait. This also means that users don't have to complete KYC verification again. Okay, so if you've already completed KYC verification with all these other exchanges, you don't have to do it twice. We're committed to providing utilities that truly align us with the community, a real flywheel that can send us all higher. We're getting to the point I wanted to get to. I'm not going to read all this. You can check it out. I'll put it up top so you can see it. But he has a few points here. One is improving the quality, sustainability, and diversity of launched coins. 2, doubling down on social. 3, continuing to invest in the best user experience. 4, this is where I was getting at, growing the team. As a team, we are infamously small and scrappy for a very long time, including during periods of massive growth. However, to truly win, we must expand and build an empire. The foundation has already been set with 70 core team members spanning engineering, data, security, trust, integrity, legal, operations, and growth. If you're talented, young, and hungry, my DMs are always open. We will continue expanding the team aggressively, whether through hiring or strategic acquisitions. Our first ever acquisition will be announced soon. Any ideas who it is?
Couldn't even begin to guess.
I can't either. Curious, chat. Who do you think Pump.fun acquired? And bigger, zooming out even further, might we be entering like an actual crypto M&A season? We just yesterday talking OpenSea acquiring Rally.
Oh yeah, I think we're in it. I think we're in the middle of it. I get it. Like I understand what they're trying to say. Like it's a great, well-written, possibly AI assisted, which it should be. If you're writing anything long like that, you should get some assistance on why you think coins make sense. I understand the thesis that's playing out. I don't think it quite plays out in practice that way. Like I said, it's important to believe in your product. I think it's a way to romanticize what they are, and you should do that with your product. I don't fully agree, but I think I could see why somebody would read that and be like, hell yes. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'll be curious to see how it plays out. Like as far as it goes, I think that it's like let me put it this way. I would love to see a debate between like Alan and somebody who's really smart on the other end of it, debating about the viability of meme coins as a product, because I think what I see when I see this, and this is what you should do when you have a business, especially successful in this on product market fit within a organization, like you see this is the ultimate case in what I believe. Somebody else poke holes in it, you go back and forth. Like I'd like to see more of those debates of the viability of things like meme coins and other products, rather than just kind of, because I think it's easy for someone to see that as an echo chamber and be like, hell yeah, I buy that. I think very different if you're actually playing it out. Like it's like, so I think there's, again, I'll be interested to see what happens with meme coins. It's interesting that they continue to survive and thrive following what happened, 6-8 months ago. Short memories in the space, but we shall see. So I think I'll be curious to follow. The biggest thing I would say is like, just like the other side mint or anything else. I know it's not an analogous comparison that people have been making, but people have been making it. I'll be curious to see how I'd be curious to see how it plays out, because it's a major moment in our industry. It's a major moment in time in crypto. And so it'll be interesting to follow. But look, I know we're at about 10:15. I actually have plenty of topics to hit on tomorrow that I didn't have hit on today because we went deep on AI, which is super fun. Any other things or thoughts before we jump out?
I saw Chai popped up. If you got a quick comment, question, go and get in here. Otherwise, we'll wind down. Chai GM. Maybe some Yap clout squatting. I don't know.
Yeah, right on. Well, look, that said, let's let everybody sail off into their day. We will talk to everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.